Welcome to the Business Collective podcast with Terry Fletcher. Weekly conversations and insights on how to go from employee to consultant in any business field where your years of expertise can be showcased. Take your career to the next level, entrepreneurship. Now here's your host, nationally recognized healthcare consultant, speaker, and author, Terry Fletcher.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Business Collective podcast. My name is Terry Fletcher, and today we are brought to you by PGI Conferencing and also Global Meet, pgi.com. Stay connected. Okay, so today I wanted to bring just some information and some insight into what we call your brand. And if you haven't heard of that before, then you want to know the difference between how people perceive you pretty much. But a lot of times in my work with entrepreneurs and business students, I often hear marketing strategies explained as having social media or having an online brand or advertising a lot. And these explanations sometimes make me cringe because while they might be part of a plan, they're grossly oversimplified the deeper and more complex concepts behind truly effective marketing strategy when you put yourself out there. So in order to explain and help others understand marketing, namely the differences between marketing, advertising, and again, branding, I'm going to ask you to apply some concepts to yourselves personally. And when you do, you will see what this will look like. So first, let's talk marketing. So marketing is the image that you're trying to present to others. It starts with how you dress, the colors and patterns you choose, and how you groom. We all have a strategy for this. Yes, everyone does. Even your unkept second cousin who rarely showers and wears the same Star Wars shirt he's worn since college. But even not having a strategy for your personal appearance is a strategy in itself. So you're choosing your image to portray yourself as a business professional as now that you are entering into the entrepreneur world. Or are you a punk rocker? Are you a tech nerd? And by doing so, you are expressing to others through your appearance and your character, maybe lovable attributes, but in the end, the value you offer to others as well. It isn't fun to admit that appearances are as important as they are, but let's be honest. First impressions are driven by appearance, and impressions can evolve and be molded later, but as we all know, they require time and effort to change. So we need to do our best to get it right up front. For a business marketing strategy, a marketing strategy considers how you'll want others to perceive your company. So it should convey the vision and the values of the business and express these in a way the public will recognize and associate with your company. And how you dress your company will determine how effectively your message and image will be accepted by customers and your consumers and your target audience. So advertising is how you act in public. So again, marketing is how you see yourself. Advertising is how you act in public. So if marketing is how you see yourself, advertising describes your actions. So how you carry yourself, where you hang out, and what you say are just as important as how you look. All of this should be considered with your marketing strategy to assure that you have consistency between your image and your actions. So for instance, imagine you wear the New England Patriots jersey and get a I Heart Tom Brady tattoo, but during the Super Bowl, you cheer for the Philadelphia Eagles and celebrate their victory. So you will confound and probably infuriate all of your friends, and they'll likely exile you to future Sunday games. But your business advertising strategy is the same. If you execute it in the wrong places, with the wrong message and tone, at the wrong time, or to the wrong audience, it will ultimately confuse consumers and it could turn them away. So again, how you carry yourself, where you hang out, and what you are saying and what you say is just as important as how you look. A really good example right now is, what are we in right now? We are in a political climate. So even though you may have strong opinions, and this has me in this category, as far as which way you lean on the political landslide, you have to be careful depending on what group you're in. So if you're in a group with a bunch of Democrats and you're a loud spoken conservative Republican, you're not going to get anybody to actually listen to you. You're not going to get that feedback you want. And so again, marketing is how you see yourself, and remember that. Look in the mirror before you speak, because you can actually see some of that strategy as you're saying, okay, this is what I'm trying to get across. Now, branding is how others see you. So while marketing is how you want others to see you, branding is how they actually do see you. See the difference there? Your marketing strategy should assess and consider your personal brand. If you have a strong brand, you can spend more time building on that. If you have reputation problems, however, you need to focus on rebuilding or changing perceptions. So as an example, if your professional network believes you to be a fraud or a slacker, then it will require more than just dressing professionally or mastering your LinkedIn profile to create this perception. Similarly, from a business standpoint, understanding how consumers perceive your business is crucial for how you decide to execute and market and at your advertising strategy. So now I understand I kind of oversimplified complex marketing concepts, but exactly what I critiqued at the beginning is you need to find that applying these concepts to yourselves can create an effect, and a simple way to explain how each concept can and should be applied to your business. So since I'm talking about going from employee to entrepreneur, let's talk about your personal brand, because again, this is how you want others to see you, and that's what branding is. So let's talk about that for a second. So to help you develop your message and build your own brand in a compelling way, stay true to who you are. A few steps that have not only worked for me, but also my business coaching clients, and hopefully you'll find that it'll work for you. So first, define what makes you unique. When building your brand, it is important to determine your strengths and what you want your brand to stand for. Start by making a list of what you are great at and what you're passionate about. Now, in the digital age, the advent of personal brands has never been more prolific than it is now. So you want to make sure that it's more important than ever to make yourself stand out by being authentic and capitalizing what makes you truly unique. Once you develop your core strengths, you can strategically build your brand and continue to be consistent with these values. And you'll hear me use the word core quite a bit, because your core is what is going to enable you to have your foundation, if that's a kind of a good word or a better word for it, and then you can branch out from there. Then cultivate an online presence. So establishing a digital footprint, it not only gives your brand credibility, but it also serves as a great form of advertising and publicity. So social media sites and personal website builders, I've probably heard of Squarespace, and there's other ones out there, but they make it simple to establish an online presence. So create a social profile on every network so that you reserve your name across all of them, and be sure that you do it the right way. It's harder to claim your name when somebody else has already taken it. So try to be as consistent as you can. And now we're talking about your business name, which we talked about last week. And one easy way to monitor your brand's presence is to set up a Google alert for your own name. I do that, and I'm like, okay, so I got 7 or 8 alerts in one day one time, because I posted an article, because I was in a national radio show, because my podcast dropped, because I had put something on my website. So things just continue to be found, and that means somebody's looking for you. Now, know your audience, and knowing your audience is huge, because being aware of your target audience is essential to developing your brand. So by being cognizant of who you are trying to reach, you can strategically determine the best method for reaching your audience. So for example, if you're trying to target millennials, you'll want to heavily utilize social media and digital platforms to distribute content that is engaging and concise. Do you know who you want to reach? Make a list of things that you excel at and are passionate about, and start searching for people whose traits are public figures and who have strong brands. And maybe you share one who's in their market, and that'll really help you see where you're going to fit into the market. And then connect. I can't say that enough. Connections are essential to getting your brand where you want it to be. Who you associate with, it tells others about your values as a person. So connections can also help you gain more recognition and expand your following. And that actually is pretty big because myself, I'm actually really big on LinkedIn because it's a business platform, kind of like a business Facebook, if you will. But I notice that when I see somebody I respect like something that I don't respect what's happening out there, it gives me a perception of them. And again, to me, it can hurt their brand. And remember, word does spread fast. So any organizations that you are a part of or affiliated with, they will spread a narrative about who you are as a brand as well. So for example, any university you went to can indicate something about you or can be helpful in defining your brand. Technology like LinkedIn, I mentioned, is also great for leveraging connections and launching your brand. But the main thing is set goals. It's important to create goals to establish where you want your brand to be in 6 months, a year, 5 years, and so on. By creating something that is concrete to work towards, the success of your brand will gradually progress. Even if the progress is small, doing something daily to continuously reach these goals will encourage you to stay proactive, stay motivated, and know that someday you are going to move from employee to entrepreneur. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you for listening to the Business Collective podcast. Drop us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Check out our website and blog at www.business-collective.com.